Welcome to my YouTube automotive channel. Today I have 2009 Ford Escape, and in this video I will talk about what things to look at in case you are planning to buy one. So this video applies to Ford Escapes made from 2008 all the way up to 2012, and this is the second generation of Ford Escapes. In this video I will not talk about check the brakes, check the suspension and stuff like that. Those are all replaceable parts that get worn. I will talk about the major problems these vehicles have, such as the rust, spots to check, locations of the rust, transmission problems, engine oil leaks and things like that. So definitely watch this video, and I believe it will help you make a good decision. Now I will start with the exterior and the rust issues. These vehicles are well known as rust buckets. They rust out completely, so you have to be very careful. If you're buying one of these, you have to be careful. If it came from the area where they use lots of salt, you will have rust problems, that's for sure. But even if not, I'll show you the spots you have to check. Okay, so what you want to do, you want to imagine and pull a line like right here, and from this line towards the rear of the vehicle they rust. So I will show you now the locations to check. First and most important, here you want to check the rear quarter panels just above the rear wheels. They also like to rust here. Now this is how it starts, like on my blue Escape, you can see even here underneath. Now this is all still surface rust, it didn't get through, so it's fixable without welding. But this car in 2 years will be completely rusted here, and you will have to cut out this piece and weld a new piece to fix it. So this is one of the locations to check. I will also show you the other side, and I will show you I have one more 2010 Escape with the same issue. Okay, so this is the passenger side. As you can see, this side looks much worse, and it's actually rusted through here at the bottom part. So only way to fix it would be actually to cut this piece out and weld a new piece and have it repainted, and that's quite expensive. And I will show you a 2010 one that I just got today actually. Same thing, rear quarter panel above the rear wheel. You can see it's completely rusted. Now if I really pull hard onto this, I would just take it apart, I would break it. And for me to have this fixed, I will also have my body guy cut out this portion and weld a new piece and then paint it. For me it's not too big of a job because I'm familiar with these Escapes, so when I'm buying them, when I'm bidding them on the auctions, I'm well aware of what has to be done on them, and this is one of the things. So this is the first location you want to check. Even if you see just a small amount of rust here, paint peel, whatever, in a couple of years it's gonna look like this or even worse. Trust me, 9 out of 10 of these vehicles will rust here. That's just how it is. Location number 2 is the tailgate. Now this is not a safety concern, it's pretty much just cosmetical, but still this blue Escape is not too bad actually. They usually start to rust down here on the edges, and then it slowly gets up higher, and then they start to rust around this Ford Scion. Now if I open this liftgate, you can see here on the inside edges it started to rust. So in my experience, in like a year or two, this complete liftgate will be pretty much rusted out. That's how it starts. Like I said, this one is not too bad. I will show you now the other one, the 2010 one. Now look at this one. I hope you can see, it's quite sunny outside. Now that rust has spread from the inner edge all the way up here, all the way down here on the edges, and even up here. Okay, I hope you can see this. This is completely rusted out. So that's also a major repair. I mean, if you have somebody who does body work and can fix it cheap for you, that's the other story, but still it's gonna cost you at least $500 to have this rust fixed and the tailgate repainted. And now the most important thing to check on these vehicles are rocker panels. Now let me explain you that. These escapes have these plastic covers, and now if you lie underneath, if you just lie underneath and look quickly, okay, there is some surface rust here or whatever, but you will not see any major rust, and you will think, okay, this is a good vehicle, it's not too bad. What you have to do, you have to pull this plastic off. You have to pull it off this way and look inside, and when you look inside, you'll be surprised what you can see. Every second of these escapes will be completely rusted out, complete rocker panels from the front hand all the way to the back and both sides, and that's the huge repair. That's something you do not want to deal with. So this is the main thing to check. So usually you'll have a couple of clips here. Some dealers, some sellers will even put some extra bolts right here just to keep this firm at place, so when they sell the vehicle you will not be able to see that rust. You want to pull this plastic off completely and have a look inside. Both of these sides are completely rusted out, and this car was maintained as per the Carfax. It has a bunch of maintenance history, mechanically maintained, and drives really good, but it's completely rusted out. I will show you the front end of the rocker panel as well. Okay, now I hope you'll be able to see this. When I pull this off, look at this rust. And who would say it's actually a nice looking escape from the outside. But like I said, take a good look at the rocker panels, because this is what happens. And this car didn't come from a place that uses salt in the winter. No, it's a local vehicle. We have cold winters and we don't use salt. And this is how this car looks. So it needs completely both sides, complete new rocker panels welded on. Cut this out, and pretty much this spreads all the way up to the door shells. Okay, and one more spot to look at. Make sure to open the rear doors and just inspect this part of the rear quarter panel as well. Often you'll see no rust here on the outer edge, but if you open your doors you might see this part here rusted out, so also keep that in mind. Okay, now I'm pretty much done talking about the rust. I hope this didn't discourage you from buying these little escapes. They are very good vehicles, very good on the snow, on the ice, stable on the road, but this is something you have to take a look. And now I will start talking a bit more about mechanical issues. So once you checked over the body and there is no major rust issues or just some surface rust, that's all good. Now you will want to check some other things. Now in these escapes you'll have two options. Either you can go with 3.0 V6 or a 4-cylinder. In my opinion, 4-cylinder is good for nothing. There's absolutely no power in that SUV, and it's actually bad on gas, so I suggest you go with the 3.0 V6 engine. But those engines also have lots of problems with the oil leaks, so I will mention what's the most common on these SUVs and what most likely you will have to fix eventually. So most common oil leak is oil pan gasket, which is nothing major. I believe it's like 2.5 hours to replace that, so that shouldn't discourage you from buying it if you see the oil pan gasket leaking. Other common leak is a front crankshaft seal. That's like 1 hour labor to replace that one, and the seal is like $10 itself, so that's nothing major. But there is one bigger problem with these engines, and from my experience I sold over 100 of them and 95 of them had the same problem, and that's timing cover gasket leaking, and that's around 6-7 hours of labor to replace that one. And that's something you should be aware of if you're buying this vehicle. even if you buy one that it's not leaking, it's gonna start leaking, because they always leak. That's just a bad design. So be ready for that. If you have a good mechanic, good mechanical shop, I would always advise you to take it there and mention to check timing cover gasket, because I bet you it's gonna leak. Okay, so I will try to zoom it in a bit and try to explain you some things from underneath. So if the oil pan gasket is gonna leak, this is here the oil pan. You want to check around, I'm not sure if I'll be able to record it, around these bolts that are surrounding the oil pan. You definitely maybe take your phone and just squeeze your phone in and try to record, you know, try to see up there if you can see any kind of leaks or anything like that. You also want to check behind this plastic cover as well, and you want to check like up here as well if you see anything oily or anything like that. Like I said, but the best idea, like when buying a vehicle, just pay for 1 hour inspection somewhere and make sure to mention to check oil pan gasket, front crank seal, and timing cover gasket. Timing cover gasket is the important one. You see this one is oily underneath. I'm gonna show you the 2010 one as well. Now this blue Escape has 140,000 kilometers. So that's like, I don't know, 60, 70,000, 80,000 miles. And the other one, the 2010, is like 50,000 miles, 110,000 kilometers, and they both leak pretty bad. And they were both maintained as per Carfax. Okay, so I will show you the 2010 one underneath. I think this one is a bit worse. Okay, now you see this one, how oily it is. Now this one is a good example of oil pan gasket leaking, and probably the timing cover as well. So make sure to lie down underneath and have a good look of what's happening. Okay, now that's enough about the engine. Don't get me wrong, these are good engines, they last long, but you have to count on replacing the timing cover gasket every 2 to 3 years. That's just how it is. Trust me on that one. And I will just mention transmission on these vehicles. Now lots of people are complaining actually about these transmissions. When you are buying this vehicle, make sure to test drive it. Make sure to, when you sit in it, try to shift the gears while you are idling in place. So try it in reverse, neutral, drive. You don't want it to shift rough or suddenly or to feel jumpy or anything like that. And make sure to test drive it. You want it to shift smoothly and nice. So if you're experiencing rough shifts between gears, or some slippage, or like car shaking while accelerating, like jiggering, like going like this, that would indicate a possible transmission problem. Now I had a couple of escapes where mechanics suggested replacing the transmission because it was slipping, it was jumpy, it was shivering, shaking, whatever. Most likely, most often in my experience, just transmission oil flush, replacement of the filter and transmission oil with the Ford OEM oil will fix the problem. So I don't believe these transmissions are too bad, but they have to be maintained. So you want to change that transmission oil regularly and you won't have any problems. At least I never had to replace the transmission in a Ford Escape. Never. More common issues with these vehicles are actually problems with the torque converter, not the transmission itself. That's something I also have to mention, but like I said, if it drives nice, shifts fine, you should be good. But make sure to, if you buy one, I would definitely, as soon as you buy it, just change the transmission oil, the filter, and just keep regularly doing it and you should be good. So yeah, the main things to keep eye on is the rust. That's the main problem, and make sure to check the oil leaks. Like I said, they like to leak. That's something you will have to deal with, but other than that, these are nice little safe SUVs. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too long. If it was helpful, please consider liking it and subscribing to my YouTube automotive channel. On my channel there is lots of how-to videos, do-it-yourself videos, car reviews, product reviews, and other similar automotive topics.